Zayn wasn't even at semi-martial king level yet. He was way below that. According to every martial arts expert alive, even a warrior at semi-martial king level shouldn't have been able to match William Costa's power. It was like a house cat trying to fight a tiger.
Did anyone else see what Zayn just did? The way his energy moved was unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that dragon's roar, it shook my bones. Do you think his fighting style comes from real dragon magic? The ancient kind that hasn't been seen in thousands of years?
I heard he found a genuine dragon's finger bone in that strange little world. They say it was still glowing with power after all this time. Maybe that's where he learned these impossible moves.
The crowd couldn't stop talking, their voices mixing into a constant roar. Everyone was looking at Zayn with eyes full of jealousy and wonder, like they were seeing a legend come to life. A real dragon bone. The lucky bastard had actually found a dragon bone. That kind of luck was like winning the lottery 100 times in a row. The ancient power in such a relic could change someone forever. In the crowd, Paulson Colt's face was twisted with rage and bitter hatred. That dragon finger bone should have been his prize, his destiny, but Zayn had snatched it away like a thief in the night. Paulson Colt's losses went even deeper. His prized Guna spirit-eating insect, a creature he'd raised from birth, was completely destroyed by Zayn's Ghost King cannon. The damage was so severe that not even an immortal's power could bring it back. His fighting strength had dropped dramatically because of that loss.
Zayn, always you. Everything I lose is everything that goes wrong. It all leads back to you.
Every defeated fighter in the crowd wore the same expression of hatred. Being beaten by Zayn once was humiliating enough. Watching him match a fighter at martial king level was salt in their wounds.
Is this really all you've got, William Costa? The mighty cultivator at martial king level? I've seen street performers with more impressive tricks.
You're not just asking for death anymore, you're begging for it.
Raw energy poured from his body like an endless river, making the air itself heavy with power. His aura grew stronger with each passing second, crushing the weaker spectators to their knees. The god of war marked between his eyebrows blazed like a second sun. White lines like living snakes began spreading from his forehead across his entire body, creating intricate patterns that seemed to move and pulse with each heartbeat. Every time these mysterious lines spread further, William Costa's power jumped dramatically higher. The transformation took him from early first stage of martial king level straight to the second stage. A leap in power that should have taken years of training.
You forced my hand, Zayn. All you had to do was submit quietly and hand over what I wanted. I would have let you walk away intact. But your endless disrespect, your bottomless arrogance, you've brought this on yourself. If you can't survive what comes next, that's your own fault. Your weakness and pride dug your grave. I'm just going to fill it.
With a roar that shook dust from the arena's ancient stones, William Costa's body erupted with dark yellow light so intense it hurt to look at. His transformation completed, making him look like a god of war stepping out of the sun itself, trailing golden flames. This time, he didn't even bother with his war saber. Instead, he pressed his fingers together until they glowed with power bright enough to cast shadows at noon. Then, with a look of pure contempt, he unleashed everything he had at Zayn. The attack looked like a meteor pulled down from the heavens, blazing across the sky straight toward Zayn's heart. The heat it generated was so intense it started melting the stone floor. Zayn's mouth curled into that slight, knowing smile that drove his enemies crazy. His fingers moved through patterns so complex they seemed impossible, as his nature powers rose around him like loyal guards.
Destroyer of wind and thunder, Dragon Emperor's palm.
His blood-red Dragon Emperor's palm shot out, trailing wind and lightning, crashing into William Costa's blazing attack like two mountains colliding. For one endless moment, the two attacks fought for dominance, neither yielding. Then William Costa's power sliced through the Dragon Emperor's palm like a hot knife through butter, cutting it cleanly in half.
Ha 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 ha! Was that really your best move, Zayn? Pathetic, completely pathetic. And here, I was worried you might actually be special. How will you stop what comes next? If you die here, well, That's just natural selection at work.
The crowd was holding their breath, hearts pounding harder than Zayn's own. Every spectator felt like they were the ones facing death, not him. Some even turned away, unable to watch what they thought would be a slaughter. But Zayn remained perfectly composed, like he was taking a casual stroll. When he spoke, his voice carried a hint of amusement that made William Costa's face turn purple with rage.
2 Deca of nature powers weren't enough to impress you? Fine. Let's see how you handle 3.
Around Zayn's body, 3 distinct powers manifested simultaneously. Wind screamed like 1,000 tornadoes. Lightning flashed bright enough to blind, and flames roared high enough to touch the clouds. The 3 primal forces of nature, wind power blazing green, thunder power crackling yellow, and fire power burning red, all answering to one master.
Destroyer of wind and thunder, Dragon Emperor's palm. Destroyer of wind and fire, Dragon Emperor's palm. Destroyer of thunder and fire, Dragon Emperor's palm.
3 devastating attacks launched in perfect sequence, each one carrying enough power to level a mountain. They slammed into the God of War's attack like 3 divine hammers falling from the heavens. The collision was so powerful it cracked the ancient stage floor and sent shockwaves through the entire arena. Zayn's triple attack not only matched William Costa's power, but dispersed it completely, leaving the air thick with raw nature energy that made everyone's skin tingle.
By all the gods, Zayn has mastered 3 different Deca powers? That's supposed to be impossible.
Victor Quinn stood frozen, unable to believe his eyes. He'd thought Zayn just had 2 nature powers, which was rare enough to be legendary. But watching him perfectly combine 3 different types of energy broke everything he thought he knew about martial arts. The Fire Hall Master's expression was priceless. His jaw hanging open, eyes bulging wide, looking more like a shocked fish than a dignified master.
3. He's actually mastered 3 different Deca of nature powers completely. This kid's talent isn't just rare, it's completely unprecedented.
The Fire Hall Master's eyes blazed with equal parts excitement and deep concern.
We absolutely cannot let talent like this die in the divine tribulation. After this fight ends, I'm making him get rid of those extra powers, even if I have to tie him down to do it.
The Wind Spirit Hall Master immediately jumped into the argument, his robes swirling without any wind.
Who decided he should keep firepower? Maybe wind is his true calling. The boy clearly has a gift for wind techniques. He should keep that and drop the others. I'm obviously the perfect teacher for him.
Both powerful masters were staring at Zayn like hungry dragons, eyeing the same piece of gold.
Back off, Wind Master. I discovered his talent first.
Since when does first come, first served apply to taking disciples?
Their argument was interrupted by a booming laugh.
You're both missing the obvious. His thunder techniques are clearly the most refined.
Everyone turned to see the imposing figure of the Thunder Hall Master approaching, lightning crackling around his boots.
Why assume he'll choose fire or wind? Anyone can see thunder power flows most naturally through him.
The 3 legendary masters continued bickering like children fighting over a new toy, each convinced they knew what was best for Zayn's future. Meanwhile, on the fighting stage, William Costa looked like he'd been poisoned. His face had turned a sickly shade of green, and cold sweat poured down his body as he realized the true scope of what he was facing. He was beyond shocked. He'd thrown everything he had into that last attack, unleashing power that could have leveled a city. But Zayn, he looked like he was barely warming up, as if this whole fight was just a light exercise. William Costa's legendary confidence crumbled as he finally understood what he was really dealing with.
Thank you for listening. For more videos, please subscribe, comment, like and share. Thank you.